What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Zillennial Thoughts. And the thought I had today was that this whole idea of the Protestant work ethic, especially this concept, this notion that once your kid turns 18 or 22 or some arbitrary age like that, that you as a parent have to kick them out of the house and let them sink or swim. Pretty much, this is the ideology that has been promoted to us by boomers, by mainstream media, by Hollywood, and all of this other propaganda. It's really just something that's become a cultural expectation. You know what I mean? It's really just expected. And I'm here to tell you that all of that is just a psychological operation. All of that is a manufactured psy-op by the central banks, the Rothschilds, and the Rockefellers. Because all it's doing is just atomizing the family and making each individual family member another tenant, another car renter or leaser, someone else who's taking out loans to go to college or taking out loans to um, do some kind of educational program that is just going to put them further in debt. And all of it goes to serve the central banks. All of it goes to serve private equity. So, and all it does is just erode the middle class even further. And yeah, look, there used to be a time where that was possible, where you as a parent could just kick your kid out of the house at 18 and your kid could get a job at McDonald's and then meet a wholesome girl in the neighborhood, get married, start a family, and then she wouldn't even have to work. One man could provide for a family of four, buy a house and then a car and then some land, just working at McDonald's. Like, you could buy a house in cash for like $2,000 and you would be debt free. And if you wanted to pursue college, that was like what, $30 for a single semester. So your degree would be like nothing. It's not like today where you have to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for some degrees. And a lot of the time, that one degree is not going to be enough, and you have to go even further in debt to get a master's or a PhD. And that whole time, guess what? You're taking out loans so you can pay rent to Blackrock, and you're working shitty jobs to just pay more taxes. And then at the end, you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You can't afford a house. You're basically just leasing a car to get from home to work or home to school or wherever it is you're going. And you really have no financial base to speak of. You're basically an indebted slave up until you're like 40 or 50. That I see people who are so shackled in debt that they never pay it off. They never even pay off their student debt. And sometimes it's in their 60s and they don't even do it. So, is it really possible these days? And it becomes even more of a psyop when you realize that this construct that parents should just throw their kids out, throw them into the deep end. That's what all these boomers say. This is only a construct in North America. Like, this does not exist in other parts of the world. I need you to understand that. And even in North America, even in the US, it wasn't a construct. It wasn't this expectation until the 1950s and 60s, until the baby boomer era. If anything, this idea of kicking kids out of the house at 18 is exclusively an American baby boomer construct. So think about how absurd that is. For the entirety of human history, at every single place across space and time, except for this one generation in this one country, the norm was that children would stay with their parents until they were older, and they would just help the family. They would build family wealth. And I'm not saying that kids should stay at home and just be lazy and do nothing. I know that's going to be one of your attacks. I know you boomer minded people are going to come attack me and go like, "Oh, so you're saying that kids should just stay at home and do nothing?" I know that's what you're conditioned to think, because you guys are just conditioned to believe that anyone that criticizes this boomer mindset, the baby boomer way of doing things, is just automatically a lazy communist or something. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, sure, I would be a proponent of kids going to work, finding what they love, being productive members of society, but then instead of separating from the family and paying rent to Blackrock, they just take the money they earn, and why not pay a proportion of the rent or a proportion of the mortgage? That way the kid can feel like he's helping pay off the house. He can feel like he's contributing to the family. And better yet, start a family business, and the kids are going to work in that family business as co-owners, and they're probably willing to work a lot harder. Oh, but we can't have that. We can't have any kind of family wealth. Everybody has to be atomized. Every single family member has to be an atomized individual who is paying their own taxes, paying their own rent, paying their own cars, paying their own education, paying their own this and that, having their own credit cards, their own Shopify subscriptions. Everybody needs their own thing, because that's what's profitable for the people at the very top. Do you see what a psy-op this is? Do you see that this cultural notion that you have to kick your kids out is just a complete psy-op? And think about the parents who buy into this. They still believe in all of this bull crap about their kids needing to be independent. Independent from what? Independent so they never build some financial base of their own. They're always just these human islands that never have the sense of community support or never have these familial bonds. They're just working for the machine, generating tax revenue so we can spend more money bombing kids in the Middle East. Think about it. Really think about it. Like, it's really not radical. What I'm arguing for, or really, I mean, I'm not even that passionate about it, but where I'm coming from, like this view of kids staying with the family and just helping the family out, that's been the norm across every single country, every single culture, even the USA. It's only American boomers that have had this cultural norm. So they are not the norm. They are the outlier in this. I'm not radical for suggesting this at all. In fact, I actually think kids would be much better off if they just stayed with their parents until, maybe they're ready to move out. And I get it. A lot of families are toxic, and and a lot of people don't want to stay with their parents because their parents are just bitching at them all the time. I get it. I get it. That totally makes sense. I mean, if they're toxic and they're just not good for you, yeah, by all means move out. But what I'm really trying to question is this social pressure that a lot of parents feel. A lot of parents, they will look at, the people around them. They're like, oh, well, the Joneses kid is left when they were 18 and they have a job and they're living right now. Why aren't my kids doing it? I must be doing something wrong. Or what's wrong with my kids? And they think that there's something wrong with their kids just because their kids aren't moving out after high school or after college. And they see all their friends' kids who have moved out. And I could relate to that because a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I've grown up with, they moved out after college. But guess what? A lot of them are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of them have almost no free time to really figure out what they want to do with their lives. A lot of them are really just, they're not happy with the jobs they have, but they felt like they had to get it out of some kind of social pressure or some kind of familial shame. They felt like maybe their parents would disapprove of them, or some kind of social shame. They feel like if they had stayed with their parents and after they graduated or after they turned 18, if they feel like if they're still living at home past a certain age, that it's a poor reflection on them. And I know where that comes from. That there's a strong social pressure on kids to move out and a strong social pressure on parents to kick the kids out. And I'm telling you that all of that is a central bank psychological operation. That is social engineering that was deliberately conditioned into you by the central banks, by the Rockefeller education system, just so they have more people who are renting from Blackrock owned properties and who are paying taxes so the government can continue paying off debt that they themselves, that has been the result of their reckless actions, and so they could continue their endless wars in all of these different corners of the globe. I know you're not used to hearing things like that, but that's the truth. All of it is really just, all of it's fake, all of it's propaganda. Like, that's what I realized growing up. And for a long time, I felt a lot of shame living with my parents. When I moved back from college, I thought, I'm going to get an amazing job, a high paying job for sure, and I'm going to live by myself. I'm going to rise up the ranks of my company. And then I'm going to get a nicer place. I'm going to get married. And then I'm going to keep progressing in my career. And then I'm going to have kids. I'm going to take out a 30-year mortgage and be enslaved to the banks for the rest of my life. And then I'm probably going to get cheated on and then divorced. And then she's going to get the kids. Just the average American, peasant life. And all of that just because I was too prideful to be seen as living with my parents again. And I'm going to say right now, I'm so grateful. I am so unbelievably grateful that my parents have let me stay with them, even after college. As I was working, I was paying rent. So in a way, I was helping the family. I was contributing income to the family. And I would help around the house. I would walk the dog, wash the dishes, do the laundry, clean things up. just being a good son. I mean, nobody is saying there. People act like there are these two extremes, right? If you're not kicking your kids out, if your kids are not moving out after college or after high school and living a life on their own as some atomized peasant, then they must be some broke, unemployed loser in their parents' basement who's just playing video games and watching porn all day. Like that's the stereotype. It's either one of these two extremes. But no, you can be at home in your parents' place. You could be contributing some. You could still be working full time. You can be contributing income that's going to help pay off family debts. You could start a business with your family. If your family has a business, you could work with them on that and build up a base of wealth for yourself. And your family will be better off in every single way. I mean, there's no need for you to rush to become some serf. I feel like this is the mindset. Like a lot of Asian and Hispanic and minority groups, they already have this family centered mindset, especially in the Hispanic community. I really got to hand it to them. A lot of their kids, they don't feel this pressure to move out as much. I've noticed this in my Latino friends. A lot of them, they don't give a shit if anyone's laughing at them for living at home with their parents. They don't care. Like who cares? They don't feel shame about that at all. Unless they're really whitewashed. Uh, but yeah, I will see that a lot of their moms and dads will own like restaurants or various businesses, and then the kid just comes back and he works with his family on those businesses. He has a great time. He builds up some skills, and then eventually, after a couple of years, he saved up a lot of money, and he could move out. And I think that's a very successful model, as opposed to a lot of white families, even a lot of Asian American families. I'm going to be honest, that will, especially East Asians for some reason. It's not as common with Southeast Asians and like Filipinos and stuff. But especially white people and East Asians, more of the middle class demographics, they adopt this boomer mindset where they think they have to kick their kids out at 18 or 22 or some arbitrary age like that. Their kids need to be independent, just for their own sake. And I think this is really just a vestige from the baby boomer generation. And especially a lot of these parents, they grew up in more prosperous conditions where kicking their kids out and having them fend for themselves, it was possible. It was not only possible, it was basically impossible for you to fail. But now that's just not the case. The economic condition is just not. It's gotten far worse, and I think there shouldn't be too much of a rush. Honestly, things are just different. Maybe kids, young people, they need some time. They need time to kind of like discover who they are and what impact they want to have on the world. Like, what's the rush to force them into this marketplace so they can contribute to this fiat economy? Like, what is the rush? Are you really so? I think so much of it is just social pressure. It's just because parents, they notice that, their neighbors, kids, oh, so and so's kid is working at a prestigious company over there in that city across the country, and he's living on his own. I mean, it's so pretentious. If you just stop giving a fuck about what all these other people think about you, I mean, it's a lot more liberating. I've stopped giving a shit. It doesn't mean I want to live with my parents forever. Like, God, I would love to live on my own, but I don't want to go broke doing it. I want to, have like the I want to have like, recurring income and work. Like, I want to be doing meaningful things, you know? And to be quite honest, this is just me speaking, but I don't see too much of a future here in America, to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The way that I see things going with this endless money printing and this hyperinflation that we are in, that's another thing that I'm going to briefly touch on, is that a lot of parents, a lot of people in general are just totally oblivious to like the monetary system and the Federal Reserve, these central banks, inflation, all of that, and they're gonna get fucked over. The middle class is gonna be completely fucked. Like it's basically over for them. But yeah, I really don't see a future with all this because I know that this money printing is only going to get worse. Hyperinflation is only going to get worse. This debt situation is only going to get worse. And when this hits, it's only going to make rents go higher and higher and higher and higher, and it's just going to be impossible for young people to even rent a house, let alone own one. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot more of Gen Z and younger generations just choosing to stay home with their parents. And it used to be that I would think that I was dumb. People would think I was dumb. Like, he hasn't moved out of his parents' house. He must be dumber than all of those kids who have. No, maybe it's because I realized what a scam it is. It's because I realized what a psy-op this whole social pressure to do so is. And that's what makes me smart. Believe me, like, I do want to move out. I am very eager to move out. I would love to do so. I'm working towards it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna help my family out while I'm living with them. And I'm not gonna be a burden to them. But I do understand that eventually it will serve me better to just learn to survive on my own, and I've been preparing for that. That's why I've been saving up. I've been stacking my assets very selectively. Not just saving a bunch of fiat currency, obviously, but choosing various assets here and there that I can invest in. That way I can have some kind of cushion. I can really do what I want to do. I wouldn't be forced to go into some job that I hate, like a lot of people that I know. And then before you know it, life passes you by. Because at first it begins with you saying, "Oh, I just need a job so I can pay rent." And then it's like, "Oh, well, if I stay, I get paid $1 an hour more. Oh, but I have these benefits I don't want to lose. Oh, I need to keep working, move up in the company. I need this promotion so I can move out." Because, guess what? All my other friends have moved out, so I might as well do it. Oh, and then I need this other promotion because all my friends, so and so, are driving that car. He got a new car. He got a new TV. He got a new this or that. Hey, I should get one of those. And then a few promotions later, you know what? Lifestyle inflation can kick in. I could get a new this. I could get a new that. Let's upgrade this. Let's start eating out more. Oh, but then I need that other promotion. And once I get that, once I get that other promotion, once I get this higher position that pays more, I'll be set. You know, I can relax. And then there's always something else to chase, always this and that and something else. And then comes the 30-year mortgage, and you're basically enslaved for the rest of your life. Oh, I can't quit now. I got a mortgage to pay off. And then before you know it, you're like 50. You're 50, you're 60, and you realize you haven't lived the life that you wanted to. You haven't lived the life that you imagined for yourself when you were 21 or 22. You always thought that there would be more time, but there isn't. And all of it started because you were scared of falling behind. You were scared of how other people would see you. You were scared of being that one guy who was still living with his parents. And that's going to do it for today. I will see you on the next one.